Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. So appreciate you joining me today for today's Facebook Live. We do this every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And very sorry, last week I had to go pick up my daughter at school. Got a last minute notification. And so I apologize for not being present for last week's Facebook Live. I guess part of being a mother, I have to go pick up your children at school sometimes. So kind of inconvenient when I need to be educating you guys. So thanks so much for joining me again. This week I want to talk to you guys all about minerals. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm very, very passionate about minerals and educating you guys about minerals and the importance of using minerals for detoxification. You know, minerals are used for thousands of processes in the body. Minerals are the spark plugs of life. They are what make our body go, what make our metabolism work. And 90% of people today are deficient in minerals. It's a huge, huge problem. It's one of the reasons that we accumulate heavy metals in our body to do jobs that are needed to be done that can't be done because the preferred required mineral isn't available. It's deficient in the body to do that job. So the body has to, accumulate and not release and not detox certain metals because it has no other choice. So minerals and metals can do some of the same jobs in the body. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about magnesium, selenium, and zinc specifically and how they detox the body. What exactly are trace minerals and why do you need them? Why you should supplement minerals like magnesium, zinc, and selenium, and what happens when you are deficient in these minerals and the role each of these minerals play in detoxing the body, what metals each of these minerals detox, and I'll talk about how much you should supplement each day and what forms are best to supplement as well. If you guys have any questions throughout this Facebook Live, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I'm going to answer all of your questions before I leave. And thank you so much for joining me. I love doing this every week, and it's just really exciting. I started a couple months ago, and it's really great to interact with you guys and talk with you guys. And I love your questions, so throw them at me if anything comes to mind about minerals and detoxification. So I'm going to start with talking about how, I really believe that mineral depletion is truly at the root cause of all disease, because minerals are the spark plugs of life. They're required to have sufficient energy and health and to detox the body. And without enough minerals, we accumulate heavy metals to perform various functions in the body. That's why it's really important to constantly replenish your body with the minerals that your body expends on a daily basis. And I'm going to go into a whole list of why our bodies are deficient in minerals and some of the things that contribute to mineral deficiencies in our bodies. And unfortunately, in today's world, naturally occurring nutrient-rich soil is becoming very, very rare. There's so much vegetation growth and aggressive modern farming techniques have brought many of the Earth's minerals to the surface where they've then been washed away. And lithium, for instance, is a very light mineral. It's been essentially completely washed away and evaporated from our soils, and that's why almost every single person I test is deficient in lithium. This is very much needed in the body for a lot of different things, including making GABA, helping you to relax and reduce anxiety. That's why so many people are anxious today. We're all deficient in lithium, among other minerals. And then there is the problem of synthetic fertilizers. They're routinely applied to farms and fields, and where minerals have already been depleted, and these man-made chemical fertilizers provide only enough mineral substance to support basic life. Say, take Miracle-Gro, for instance. Miracle-Gro, a lot of people buy that and put it on their gardens because it makes their vegetables and plants grow really, really big, really, really fast. Well, that's the last thing that you want. You don't want your vegetables growing really, really fast because they have less time to absorb nutrients and minerals from the soil. And the Miracle-Gro is, it's called a phosphate fertilizer. And it's got 3 minerals in it. It's got phosphate, it's got potassium, and it's got nitrogen, and that's about it. And a lot of these fertilizers are from Morocco, and they have a lot of cadmium in them. So the synthetic fertilizers are adding cadmium to the soils as well as promoting mineral deficiency in your body when you eat food that's fertilized with these 3 minerals, basically. And, experts estimate that 90% of Americans suffer from mineral imbalance and deficiency. And if you're one of them, whether it's because of over-exercise, stress, or a diet of refined, nutrient-poor foods, your body will suffer fatigue, thyroid and adrenal issues, food cravings, and numerous health symptoms, including muscle cramps. And there's a huge litany of, health issues associated with mineral deficiency, and mineral cramps is just one of them. But it's interesting, food cravings is a big one. There's so many people out there that are hungry all the time, or they've just eaten a meal and they have, they start craving food a couple hours later, and then they just find their body is just constantly sending them cues to eat more food. And that's why one reason a lot of people are overweight today. 2/3 of our population in the US are overweight and or obese, because they're just not getting minerals and nutrients in their food, and their body signals to them to keep eating and eating and eating. But when you switch to a more mineral rich diet, you're juicing, you're taking mineral supplements, you find that your hunger and cravings go away because your body is finally getting what it needs. Mineral deficiencies also result in the body accumulating toxic metals. This is why I talk about minerals a lot, because it relates to metal toxicity and accumulation of metals in the body and retention of metals in the body, where the body won't release metals because it's using them. It's using them for energy. It's using them for various functions in the body. And so that's why part of my Myers Detox protocol is mainly supplementing lots of minerals, because that, number one, gets the body's metabolism working more correctly so that you can detox. And by taking minerals, you push metals out of the body. And toxicity is really one of the main health consequences of not supplementing with minerals, because not only does your body not have the basic materials it needs to function without minerals, but it leaves you more vulnerable in our toxic world, because your body will have a tougher time removing heavy metals if you're mineral deficient. So I want to talk about some of the things that minerals are used for in the body. We need them for food digestion, for absorption, assimilation, for formation and control of numerous enzyme systems in the body, a lot of different processes, synthesis of your hormones. So if you're mineral deficient, you'll have hormonal imbalances. They're needed for reduction of damage resulting from toxic substances. For minerals are needed for the movement, transportation of vitamins, hormones, other minerals and nutrients to required tissues and organs. And they also regulate the interrelated functions of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, hormones, and other cellular metabolic processes in the body. And the main reason people today are deficient, and I'm going to go over some of the many reasons people are deficient in minerals today, is the main reasons because of a mineral deficient diet, a nutrient deficient diet. Even if you eat a perfect organic diet, you still are not going to be able to get all the nutrients and minerals that you need from food. It's not possible. I hosted the Medicinal Supplement Summit a couple of years ago. I talked to 50 different experts on minerals, supplements, and nutrition, and not one single person said that you can get what you need from food. It's just not possible today because of the amount of stressors we have in our body, and because of all the mineral deficient mineral deficient food in our food supply. And it really comes as a surprise to many of my clients that have been eating really, really healthy for years that they are in fact mineral deficient when they see their hair mineral analysis results. And this was me too. I had been taking care of, impeccable care of myself for years. And I did a hair mineral analysis and I was deficient in all these minerals. And I thought, how is that even possible? I eat such an amazing diet. I take this huge, bag of supplements, but the supplements really didn't have a lot of minerals in them. A lot of people, they don't focus on minerals. Minerals aren't sexy. There's not a lot of money to be made in the supplement industry in minerals, and minerals are very bulky. So people tend to have to take a lot of them, which they don't like. And, it's just one of those things we're very, very deficient, and it takes a lot of supplementation to replete the body and increase the levels in our body to the level that we need. So let's talk about some of the different reasons that we are mineral deficient today. So number one is GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So a nutritionally bankrupt, genetically modified food supply is a big culprit. A lot of people eating GMO foods, and the soil is depleted in most of the world, and these hybrid crops, the GMOs, are designed for depleted soil, and they don't contain nearly as many minerals as, say, organic food. And this is amply proven by USDA statistics that measure mineral content of the soil since the early 1900s. There's lots of data on nutritional and mineral content in our foods, and every year it gets worse and worse and worse because of our farming practices and GMOs and the glyphosate that is sprayed on all of the foods today. If it's not organic, usually it's going to have glyphosate on it. And how does glyphosate work? Glyphosate is an herbicide that chelates minerals. It grabs minerals out of weeds, unwanted plants, and that's how it kills them. And so that's what it's also doing to you. When glyphosate gets in your body, it's chelating manganese, it's chelating other minerals and removing those from the body. And it's one of the reasons that almost everyone I test is manganese deficient, not magnesium, manganese. And it's lots of studies show that glyphosate removes and depletes manganese from the body, among other minerals. That's how it works. That's how it kills the weeds, and that's how it kills you slowly. So really, really important to eat organic food to avoid glyphosate. And even organic food is deficient. Unfortunately, there's a lot of large organic farms. They have intensive farming practices. There's no financial incentive for farmers to replete the soil with minerals. And so if crops aren't rotated, or they have just bad farming practices, or they're using chemical fertilizers, which does happen on organic farms, that there's going to be mineral deficient soil, and the food will be deficient as a result. Then there's hybridized fruits, like hybrid fruits and vegetables are also deficient in minerals. The more a plant is bred to have desirable characteristics, like shelf longevity or tougher skins to survive travel, the more the nutrient content will suffer. And then what I talked about before, the superphosphate fertilizers, the NPK fertilizers, the sodium, phosphorus, potassium fertilizers. Sorry, I said nitrogen earlier, I was mistaken. It's actually sodium, phosphorus, potassium fertilizers like Miracle-Gro cause food to grow faster, leaving less time to absorb nutrients from the soil. So that's a huge problem. And then there's chelating pesticides. So pesticides like Roundup or glyphosate are sprayed heavily on food crops, and they work by chelating minerals from the weed. And this glyphosate is also not only sprayed to prevent weeds, to kill weeds, it's also sprayed after the crops are harvested to dry them out. It's used as a desiccating agent, so it dries out oats or other types of grains. So the grains today that are not organic are just so rich in glyphosate. It's scary, and so that's when to remove minerals from your body. Then there's refined food. Eating unnaturally refined white flour, white rice, white sugar, and table salt robs minerals from your body in order to be processed by the body. So eating those foods, not only are they mineral deficient, they rob minerals from your body to digest them. That's why so many people are overweight and sick, because they're eating these horrible foods, nutritionally deficient. Their body is crying out for more and more and more food, and people overeat. Then there's food additives. There's several thousand chemical food additives found in processed and prepared foods that inhibit the absorption of nutrients. Then there's gluten. Eating a lot of wheat and other irritating gluten-containing foods damage the intestinal tract, which reduce nutrient absorption. Raw foods. Raw foods are good. I mean, you want to eat some raw foods, but eating too many raw foods makes nutrient deficiencies worse. I'm not talking about juices. I'm just talking about raw vegetables and things like that. Vegetables really need to be cooked in order to obtain the maximum amount of nutrition inside them within the plant cell walls, because the cellulose, say if you have some broccoli you look at the stalk of the broccoli, the cellulose, it's this very hard cell wall that's very difficult for your body to break down, especially if you have a compromised digestive tract like most people do. You have lowered hydrochloric acid. It's really, really difficult to digest the stalks of plants like broccoli, cauliflower, and other vegetables. They really need to be cooked to break them down to maximize the absorption of nutrition that's within the cell walls. So yes, you can eat some plants cooked, but an all raw food diet, people tend to find they get some pretty severe nutrient deficiencies if they're on the diet for long enough because of this issue. And then there's congenital deficiencies. So even babies are extremely mineral deficient and toxic because their mothers are nutritionally depleted and metal toxic. And that condition is passed directly from mother to child. And then there's poor digestion. So many people today have poor digestion, poor assimilation of their diet that they're eating and the supplements that they're taking because of intestinal infections, because of stress, fatigue, improper food preparation, improper eating habits like eating too quickly, all of which will interfere in mineral absorption. So let's talk about what causes mineral imbalances, what causes mineral deficiencies. Stress is a huge one. Stress actually depletes minerals from the body. It reduces digestive ability and quickly uses up vital minerals. And toxic metals and chemicals, these replace minerals and enzyme binding sites and interfere with mineral absorption. And fatigue also reduces digestive ability, and it's this vicious cycle that leads to more illness. Like you become ill and then you become tired, and that leads to more illness. And that's why I talk a lot about fatigue and toxic metals that cause fatigue and how to restore mitochondrial function and energy production. And that's one of the main reasons I created my Mitochondria Detox supplement kit and program. That's going to be available starting next week. You can find it on the store right now, store.myersdetox.com. But it's really, really important to start reducing metals in your body that promote fatigue, because that just, look at domino effect. It just impacts every aspect of functioning, your ability to sleep, your immune functioning, your metabolism, your ability to digest food, so many different issues in the body. So just taking care of that problem goes a long way to dramatically improving your health and your energy production. Improper drinking water. So tap water, even with a filter, is not safe due to added chlorine, aluminum fluoride, and other toxins that can be in the water. And there's many other types of water that do not hydrate the body enough, such as reverse osmosis water. A lot of people are drinking that and it's mineral deficient. There's no minerals in it, and that can deplete them if they drink that type of water. That's why the only type of water I recommend is spring water, because it hydrates the body best. It contains a lot of trace minerals. Distilled water, because it's completely mineral deficient, will actually remove minerals from the body. So not good to take or drink for more than a couple of months. And if you must drink filtered water, read my article, The Best Water Filter on the Market, on myersdetox.com. I have my favorite water filters on there, the Pure Effects filters that are fantastic for filtering your tap water if that's what you choose to drink. Other things that deplete minerals are medications like birth control pills, vaccinations, and other medications, especially high blood pressure, hypertension medications. Those deplete magnesium severely. And taking medical drugs usually irritate the intestinal tract and the liver, and they worsen digestion. And they also interfere in use of nutrients and uptake and absorption of minerals. And a lot of medications also contain mercury and other metals as well, so that's another story. So also taking the wrong supplements can lead to mineral depletion. Many people take minerals, but they don't take nearly enough of the minerals, or they're not taking the right form of minerals. That's a big problem. There's a big learning curve when it comes to supplements. That's why I hosted my medicinal supplement summit a couple of years ago, because I wanted to educate people about supplements. It took me, a decade of studying supplements and nutrients to really, it's a big learning curve. It's a decade of learning. And so that's why, help you guys just bypass all that and give you just the information you need to make the right choices with your supplements. So we're going to go over some of the best forms of my favorite minerals to detox the body at the end of this Facebook Live. So parasitic infections are a big problem. These impair mineral absorption, and I suggest eating mostly cooked food to reduce parasites. Raw foods typically is going to have a lot of parasites. And when people do my Myers Detox protocol, they kill hundreds of parasites in many different ways. We give you supplements. We recommend coffee enemas, infrared saunas, a lot of things that we do on the Myers Detox protocol, which is my flagship detox program, help to number one, bring down the metal levels, which bring down parasites, and do a lot of other things to reduce and control parasites in the body. And then negative emotions also cause mineral deficiencies. Emotions such as anger, fear, worry, and more contribute to stress and use up a lot of minerals as well. And although trace minerals are no longer as plentiful in foods as you eat, they exist plentifully in proper proportions in the mineral-rich waters of the oceans and the seas. And so many of the trace elements once abundant in soil are now only found in the oceans. And that's why it's really important to heavily sea salt your food, using sea salt when you're cooking, and to take nutrients. Like I take Oceans Alive marine phytoplankton every single day because it contains all the trace minerals that your body needs. It has ocean water in it. It has every mineral your body requires. So it's a great way to replete minerals in your body, get your trace minerals, as well as taking or eating lots and lots and lots of sea salt. And so let's talk about how minerals detox the body. So I'm focusing here on magnesium, selenium, and zinc, and because these are the main minerals that will help to promote detox in the body. So magnesium protects the cells from aluminum, mercury, lead, cadmium, beryllium, and nickel. So those are the main metals that are detoxed when you take magnesium. With selenium, the main metals that are detoxed with selenium are arsenic, beryllium, cadmium, mercury, and silver. A lot of people have silver toxicity from mercury amalgam fillings, or are getting a little bit too happy with taking colloidal silver. You can overdo colloidal silver and become toxic in it. And then with zinc, zinc helps detox aluminum, cadmium, copper, mercury, and manganese. So very, very important to take these minerals every day to detox these metals. That's why they're a very essential part of the Myers Detox protocol, in addition to trace minerals and other minerals if they're required based on deficiencies that we find on your hair mineral analysis, which we use on the Myers Detox protocol. So let's talk about how much of these minerals you should take every day. So for magnesium, you want to take roughly 5 times your body weight in milligrams per day. So for instance, if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to take 1,000 milligrams per day of magnesium. And that's a rough estimate. Some people need more than that. Some people need less. With magnesium, if you need less, you just want to take it to bowel tolerance. Some people are sensitive to magnesium and it can cause loose bowels. And so you just have to take what works for your body. These are just general guidelines. Everyone is a little bit different. They have different health status. They have different issues affecting their body's ability to absorb and utilize certain minerals. So you have to do what works for you. And for selenium, you want to take about 200 micrograms per day. If someone's severely deficient, sometimes I'll give them 400 micrograms per day. I was taking that for a little while myself to bring my selenium levels up. But for most people, you want to max at 200 micrograms per day. And with zinc, you want to take no more than 50 milligrams per day. Because what happens if you take more than 50 milligrams of zinc per day, you have these little zinc receptors in your cells. And if you have more than 50 milligrams in your body, you're taking throughout the day, these receptors kind of pull back to protect. It's a protective mechanism in your body. So if you get too much, you actually won't absorb it. You'll be taking it for nothing because it's just, your body has a protective mechanism against too much zinc. So definitely be sure that you take no more than 50 milligrams a day. So let's talk about some of the forms of these minerals that are best to take. There's a lot of different forms of these minerals, and many people have a lot of confusion over how much of each to take. So let's talk a little bit about magnesium to start. So there's lots of different forms. So there's chloride, magnesium chloride, which I typically recommend Activation Products Ease Spray. It's the spray that you just spray in your body. It's great to take chloride transdermally, to spray it on your skin. So chloride is great for detoxing and for kidney function as well, metabolism. Magnesium citrate is not recommended. It interferes with a lot of different processes in the body. Some people take it because it causes loose bowels. It helps them to go to the bathroom, and that's warranted sometimes. That's needed, but for many people, I don't recommend the citrate at all. Things like Natural Calm or magnesium citrate. Citrate can cause different mineral deficiencies in the body, and so it's just not recommended. Then there's magnesium glycinate, which is great. It's very relaxing. It relaxes the body. If you have a fast heart rate or a headache, it can really help to reduce that. It's very good absorption. It can help with leaky gut, with nerve pain. There's magnesium malate, which is great. That's what I usually recommend for detoxification, energizing the body, and really helps with pain and fibromyalgia, muscle pain. Magnesium oxide, I generally don't recommend that. It has a very low absorption rate. It's still fine to take. It's in a lot of like multi-magnesium supplements where they'll have different forms of magnesium. So it's fine to take, but it's not the only form I would take. It's very, very cheap. So if you go to the grocery store or to a drugstore, most of the cheap supplements there will only have magnesium oxide, and that's not going to be the best form to take by itself, but fine to take in combination. Magnesium sulfate is great, like Epsom salt baths. Those are magnesium sulfate. Those are best taken in a bath. Small oral doses are okay as well. If you have a sulfur sensitivity, that might bother you a little bit. Magnesium taurate and orotate are great for cardiovascular health, not so much for detox, but good for your heart. There's magnesium threonate, which is great for depression, anxiety, neurological conditions, brain injuries, PTSD, great for that. And so those are the main forms of magnesium. Then for selenium, really the only form I recommend is something called S-E-methyl-selenocysteine. So kind of a mouthful. So it's S-E-methyl-selenocysteine. And my favorite brand is Life Extension, S-E-methyl-selenocysteine, because I've given thousands of people selenium, many different forms, and this is the only form of selenium where I actually saw an increase in people's selenium levels over time. So I give people other forms like selenium methionine, which is a decent form, but I just haven't seen that form raise selenium levels in any meaningful way on people's tests, hair mineral analysis, after they start taking it. So I don't really like any forms of selenium, except maybe taking or eating 2 Brazil nuts a day. Eating 2 Brazil nuts a day is great. I've had lots of clients that do that on a regular basis, and they have perfect selenium levels on their hair test. So if you don't want to supplement, you can also eat 2 Brazil nuts a day. And I know there's some people going to be commenting, oh, I've read that there's toxicity in Brazil nuts and there's too much omega-6 in Brazil nuts and yada, yada, yada. That may be, but there's metals and toxins in all of our food supply today. I don't think you can really escape that. And you really need to be thinking more about the nutritional value of the foods that you're eating, and then just follow a sensible lifelong detoxification plan, making detox part of your lifestyle, because you can't single out every single food and get rid of every single food that might potentially have a toxin in it. You can drive yourself crazy thinking about that. You want to remove the most obvious sources of toxins in your diet, but you can't escape it completely. So zinc, great forms of zinc are glycinate, gluconate, Those are great forms as well. Zinc, I don't know, it's escaping me right now. Zinc picolinate is great as well. That's a really nice form as well. But I typically give people zinc gluconate or zinc glycinate as well. And so that's pretty much it for my little presentation here for you guys. So I'm going to get to your questions and answer all of your many, many questions that you have here. So Kate, thank you so much for joining us, and Blaze, thanks so much for joining us as well. So Blaze, so what can cause low potassium? So the main reason we have low potassium on hair mineral analysis is because of thallium toxicity and cesium toxicity. And it's not necessarily from potassium deficiency. I think we get a lot of potassium in our diets, but unfortunately, cesium and thallium block potassium channels in the body, and they cause potassium deficiency. They show, you'll show if you have these toxicities, which most people do, because there's lots of cesium being released into the ocean from the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan, which is still leaking massive amounts of cesium into our environment and our ocean. But people are also getting thallium. They're breathing that in the air. It is from car exhaust fumes. Thallium is naturally occurring in petroleum deposits. So when we're burning oil, burning fossil fuels in engines, that gets released into the environment, we breathe that in. So it's really hard to escape being thallium toxic in our environment today, and that's going to cause potassium deficiency. So any of you guys on a Myers Detox protocol or any kind of hair mineral analysis program, nutritional balancing, or Morley Robbins, or what have you, that's why your potassium is always low on tests. It's a pretty consistent finding, and it's because of the thallium and cesium toxicity. How do we remedy that? With my Mitochondria Detox supplement kit and program, I give you something called activated silica, and that's shown in studies to bring down thallium, bring down cesium levels, as well as other metals that cause fatigue. And then once you start taking that, over time, you'll find the potassium levels start coming up because they're no longer being blocked in the body by these toxic metals. So all you have to do is my Mitochondria Detox program, and then the potassium levels will start coming up on your hair mineral analysis. So Stan, so I distill my well water and use a multi-mineral to replace much of what I lost, but I also use various Atlantic seaweed as a real food to help replace. What are your top mineral foods? So that's great. You're thinking about minerals and different foods and supplementation to replace them, what you're not getting when you distill your well water. The top mineral foods actually are meat. Meat is extremely mineral rich. Bacon has lots of selenium. Red meats have lots of selenium. Lamb is rich in selenium, and green vegetables, very, very rich in minerals as well. So basically, if you eat a balanced diet, if you eat animal proteins and you eat lots of vegetables, green vegetables and whatnot, you'll be getting a lot of minerals. Juices, I tend to juice almost every single day. I've had 2 juices today because those are extremely mineral rich, and you get this huge amount of vegetables. You juice it and you concentrate all those minerals in those vegetables that you can never possibly eat in one day. So juicing is a very, very important part of repleting minerals in your body. So Tammy, so a little off topic, but when you're able, could you talk about your Detox Institute you mentioned on your website and when you plan to open it up to students? So the Detox Institute is planned for 2019, probably late 2019. We're working on the level 1 course. The level 2 course is already completely written. We're working on the level 1 course. It's kind of coming slow. It takes a lot of work to do it right, and then we'll begin working on that probably later this year to start getting that off the ground. So hopefully 2019 will be when we'll launch the Detox Institute, but keep your eyes glued to the Myers Detox newsletter, and we will keep you updated on when we'll be launching the Detox Institute, where we're going to be training you guys how to read hair mineral analysis, how to interpret hair mineral analysis, how to detox clients, and all about heavy metal toxicity and what it does to the body. It's my goal and my aim to help educate you guys about the dangers of heavy metal toxicity, but also how to become certified in how to read hair mineral analysis and how to help your clients and patients detox the body. And so I'm really, really excited to launch this and to bring it to the public. It's something I've been working on for about 3 years now, and it's just taken time to get it right. And so finally next year we're going to launch it. I know I keep saying that every year, but it keeps taking longer than expected. So anyways, Diane, hello from Austin. I was just there at Paleo Effects, so thank you for saying hi. John, thank you again for your time and knowledge. What is the best test for heavy metals and minerals? The best test is a hair mineral analysis, and that's what we begin with when you do a Myers detox protocol. And a hair mineral analysis is a great way. It tests for 37 metals and minerals. Is probably one of the best tests to find out the actual mineral content of your body. It's the best test to show the correlation of the minerals you have in your body, in your tissues. And so that's what I prefer. That's what I use personally. So Susan, so good evening from northwest suburb of Chicago. Hello. Kathy, so I started taking Oceans Alive phytoplankton about 3.5 weeks ago, and after a couple weeks of taking 1 dropper full a day and not noticing any changes, I went up to 2 droppers a day. Now I'm more tired than ever. Might it be causing me to detox too fast? So that's possible. I mean, different people have different reactions to supplements, and so the Oceans Alive marine phytoplankton, which I recommend to every single one of my clients, and which I take on a daily basis, is very, very mineral rich. It has iodine in it. It has lots of different things in it, and it can cause your body to start detoxing. So if you're getting really, really tired, then it's a sign to you to pull back a little bit, maybe go back to that 1 dropper full, and then slowly work your way up. And sometimes, when you're taking lots of minerals, it does push metals out of your body, and detoxification requires energy, and many people don't have that. You have to slowly build up your minerals over time and go at the pace that works for your body. So Brandon, what test do you do for mold toxicity in a person? Does mold and heavy metals go hand in hand? Unfortunately, I am not an expert on mold, so I don't like to make any comments about that or recommendations. I don't do any mold testing. For that, I recommend going to survivingmold.com, which is Dr. Richie Shoemaker's website. He's an expert on mold, so I'd go to him to learn what tests to do for mold. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. So Olga, what do you think about the minerals in the pink Himalayan salt? I love pink Himalayan salt. I mean, I rotate all my salts. I use Redmond's real salt primarily, but I also like the pink Himalayan salt. It does have a high iron content. That's why it has the reddish color in it. I know Morley Robbins is not real enthusiastic about pink Himalayan salt because of the iron content in it, but some people need iron, and using it every once in a while is not going to really be a problem. But for me personally, I like Redmond's real salt. It has, low metal toxicity, and it's just a great salt. So Vicki, can you discuss how minerals can be antagonistic with one another as well? I think that's beyond the scope of this talk about how different minerals antagonize each other. There's definitely charts out there on the internet that you can utilize. I don't know how accurate some of these mineral antagonism charts are about what minerals deplete other minerals, and it's very, very complex. Body's metabolism obviously is extremely complex, and it can't be just on a simple chart. There's everyone's different based on their metabolism. Some people react to different minerals differently and will have stronger reactions, or will push zinc out of the body if you take some minerals. So everyone's really, really different in that respect. So it's a difficult conversation to have over just this Facebook Live. So that's something for the Detox Institute that we'll be talking about. But I think it's also something you can't really worry too much about, because you can just drive yourself crazy. So for instance, like amino acids, if you take only one amino acid and not the others, you're gonna deplete other amino acids in your body. Same for B vitamins. If you take one B vitamin, your body's gonna uptake that in favor and without other B vitamins. That's why you want to take a B complex. So the same thing can be said for any type of nutrients. That's why you want to have a balanced diet, balanced minerals, lots of trace minerals and things like that, so that your body isn't favoring one mineral or amino acid or a B vitamin over another. You have to have balance. And so, Liza, so are minerals safe to give an infant from 1 month and older after vaccines to detox metals out? So what do you recommend on dosage? So yes, of course, minerals are totally safe to give to young children and infants because they're required by our body. It doesn't matter what age you are, minerals are required by our body to work. So with children, I mean, I'd probably just give them some salt. Maybe you can put a little bit of salt in their formula or whatnot. But if they're taking formula, hopefully they're taking breast milk, and the breast milk will have lots of minerals. The mother actually wants to take lots and lots of minerals herself, because then that will come out for the baby in the breast milk. You can give the baby water. You can put a little bit of salt in the water as well. But beyond that, I don't think I would be giving supplements per se, but just making sure the mother is getting lots and lots of minerals herself. So Leslie, so hi from Okinawa. How are you? It's 9:30 a.m. next day here, and I'm going to start the coffee enemas soon. Woohoo! Good for you. Once you start, you're probably not going to stop. So Stan, I just ordered the ocean's phytoplankton, red meats, and green vegetables. Yes, that is the recommendation and the recipe for mineral repletion. So Olga, my selenium level in my blood is 239 micrograms per liter, which is too high for the new level norm. Should I stop taking selenium? I used to take 200 micrograms. So I don't know what test that you're basing that on. I don't know what the test is. You don't usually want to look at minerals in the blood. So that's the wrong place to look at minerals. You want to look at minerals in your tissues, which is going to be found on a hair tissue mineral analysis. So the blood is like a 1 second snapshot of your mineral levels. And so that's not where you look at minerals. It's not accurate at all. You cannot look at the blood for mineral levels. It's just not accurate whatsoever. And so you need to look at tissue levels on a hair mineral analysis. So Mario, do you recommend astaxanthin? I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's very, very nutritious. It's got a lot of antioxidants and things like that. But I think it tends to be a very expensive supplement for what you get. So it's just, and there's a lot of marketing around astaxanthin. But I'm just not a huge fan personally. I prefer Oceans Alive Marine Phytoplankton because I think it has a much larger nutrition profile. It has 180 different nutrients in it. And I think I just know people have such great results after they start taking it. They feel a difference. They feel a lot better taking it. So that's what I recommend. And so lots of questions here. So Tula, love your work, Wendy. Greetings from Melbourne. Thank you so much for joining us. Susan, so how do minerals actually detox the heavy metals? And so wouldn't you need to add binders to rid the body of the metals? So what happens? So you have these enzyme binding sites in the body, and they can either contain minerals, but minerals can also occupy these same enzyme binding sites in the body. So this is where we will hold minerals or metals to do certain jobs in the body. And so if you have, say, cadmium in that enzyme binding site and you supplement with zinc, zinc will help to push out the cadmium from this enzyme binding site. And yes, after you're taking the minerals, some metals will exit the body. The body will allow the release of some of these metals very, very slowly. But yes, you do need other things like binders, like other nutrients in the body to facilitate the release of these metals through the skin, through the urine, through the stool. And we also aspirate metals as well in the breath. But yeah, it's more complex than that. But you do start with mineral supplementation to begin a detox. That's why we use it on the Myers Detox Protocol. Use lots and lots of minerals. So Kim, what trace minerals do you recommend? So I recommend the Oceans Alive Marine Phytoplankton. There's lots of great products in the market. Just taking sea salt, eating lots of sea salt, heavily salting your food is great as well. But I personally take Oceans Alive Marine Phytoplankton. And so, Brandon, is vitamin C flush a good way to detox? I personally don't think that it is. So a lot of the vitamin C flushes use ascorbic acid, and they do flush the body where you have a bowel release. You typically will get diarrhea with taking a vitamin C flush, but it doesn't really promote detox very well in the body. Too much vitamin C can deplete copper in the body pretty severely for some people. So vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C is great. I tend to pulse the vitamin C, so taking about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of the liposomal vitamin C every other day is great for pulsing the vitamin C, but it's a better form of it that you absorb a lot better. But no, I don't give that to everyone. I don't give it to people that are copper deficient because it can worsen that condition. So everyone's a little bit different. There's no 100% recommendation when it comes to vitamin C and detox. So Fiona, have you found a pattern in mineral deficiency in people with EHS? I don't know offhand what EHS stands for. I'm sure it'll come to me in a minute, but usually better if you have an acronym to just spell it out, just so I'm not having to guess, as I just don't know offhand what that represents. So Diane, so what about measuring minerals with a Spectre cell test? So unfortunately, I think the Spectre cell test is not terribly accurate. I've talked to some practitioners that have questioned the validity of the results of those tests. And so unfortunately, I don't think they're terribly accurate. But there's no perfect test out there. But for minerals, I tend to I do the hair mineral analysis. So Leanne, hi Wendy, I did a hair test last year, did some detox stuff and was taking iodine, zinc, potassium, chromium. Haven't had another hair test. I've been craving ice since I took those minerals. Wonder if I caused a copper deficiency. I have had blood work and doc says I'm anemic. Should I just do another hair test? So you can definitely do another hair mineral analysis. I mean, I don't tend to give chromium to people. I find if people are low in chromium on a hair test, it's not really a concern. I don't think you really need it. Most of the forms of chromium on the market aren't very good forms. And so that's not, and I don't give people potassium typically. So I don't know what practitioner you're working with, but I think those are probably some incorrect recommendations to take. But yeah, you definitely need to do a hair test about every 6 to 12 months. Check in, see where you're at, and course correct, and take minerals that are deficient on your hair test. And but it's complicated. Without doing a health history, it's really difficult to make any recommendations over Facebook Live. But yeah, start with a hair test and with a practitioner that really knows their minerals and detoxification. So Diane, do detox foot pads work? So I like detox foot pads. I mean, I don't think they have a huge difference in your body, but they do, there is some evidence they do pull toxins out through your feet. But I don't know how it's like a huge effect, but there is some effect there. And I personally like them. I use them occasionally. But I don't think we have a huge amount of data on that, but I do know that they do work to a degree. So Jennifer, what type of magnesium, zinc, and selenium do you recommend for chronic joint pain? Does mercury toxicity cause widespread joint pain? So joint pain is usually associated with cadmium toxicity, and cadmium can be detoxed with zinc. It can also be detoxed with a number of other products, but there's an article on my website called Cadmium Toxicity on myersdetox.com. That'll give you a list of all the supplements that detox cadmium, but joint pain usually associated with cadmium toxicity. But it can be due to other things as well. It can be due to inflammation. It can be due to your diet. There's a lot of different things that can promote joint pain. So I just ordered your mineral supplement CitraCleanse and activated silica. Will those help with the widespread joint pain? So the CitraCleanse absorbs a lot of different metals and chemicals in your body. So we don't know what's causing your joint pain, but overall, the Mitochondria Detox, which contains the CitraCleanse and the activated silica products, which is my new supplement program, the Mitochondria Detox, those will help to remove a lot of different toxins in your body that could be contributing to your symptoms. But granted, Detoxification takes time. You're not going to take the mitochondria detox for 30 days and see huge results. Detoxification is slow and steady. A safe detox is slow. And so don't expect miracle results right away, especially when it comes to pain. There's a lot of different underlying factors that contribute to that. But anyone that has any type of symptoms, any kind of health issues, you want to be considering doing a detoxification, because metals and chemicals are very common contributors to joint pain and other types of health conditions. So it's a good starting point, but to get to the bottom root cause of it, you're going to have to do a lot of different things with your diet, but detoxification is part of that protocol to relieve the joint pain. So Fiona, EH is electrosensitivity. Yes. So have you found a mineral deficiency pattern? I haven't in electrosensitivity or sensitivity to EMF. I have not found any mineral deficiencies specifically or patterns that contribute to that. But we do know that the more metal toxic somebody is, the more sensitive they can be to EMFs. So when you have a lot of metals in your body, it's almost like you attract more EMFs to you. So that's another reason why it's important to detox, especially if you're known to have EMF sensitivity. So Anne, what about shilajit? So shilajit is great and it's very mineral rich, but it also, the many sources can contain a lot of metals as well. So I tend to shy away from shilajit because of the metal contamination factor. There's great products out there on the market. I'm not able to give you a list of them off the top of my head, but I tend to avoid them because of the contamination in those products, unless they've been metal tested. If you get a product that has metal testing, you have to contact the manufacturer, then that product may be okay. But without any metals testing, I probably wouldn't touch it. So Olga, I recently developed stones in both kidneys and was told to keep a no sodium diet. Which kind of salt would be less harmful for my kidneys? So that's not the solution. That's a typical conventional medical BS that the doctors tell you. You don't resolve kidney stones with starving your body of minerals. That's not how it works. So kidney stones are caused by oxalates. So you need to eat a low oxalate diet. You can go on lowoxalatecoach.com. That will give you a lot of information about reducing oxalates in your body. But the reason people have high oxalates that result in kidney stones is because of leaky gut. And so when you have leaky gut, you tend to have increased absorption of oxalates in your diet. So most people, if they have a healthy gut lining, and they have like a 2 to 3% absorption of oxalates from their gut. And if they have leaky gut, they can have up to a 50% absorption of oxalates from their gut. So the solution is fixing your gut, healing and sealing your gut, and in the meantime, when that's happening, eating a low oxalate diet, and that's going to reduce kidney stone formation in your body. Don't avoid salt. Your body has to have salt to function. That's just crazy. And that's just typical crap that the medical doctors will tell you, to starve your body of what your body needs the most, and it will have no effect whatsoever on kidney stones. So Fiona, is the coffee enema and infrared sauna enough to get the heavy metals out if you're following a good diet? No. Unfortunately, our bodies are very mineral deficient today. You have to take minerals to detox your body. You have to take binders. You have to take supplements that remove metals from your body, in addition to doing infrared saunas and coffee enemas and detox protocols like that. So unfortunately, they're not enough, but every little bit helps. So Raymond, hi Wendy, I'm planning on taking your hair mineral analysis. Does this test tell me what minerals I'm deficient in, as well as what metals that I have too much of? Yes, absolutely. So the hair mineral analysis that we use on my Myers Detox Protocol detox program will tell you the minerals you're deficient in, the minerals that you're toxic in, as well as the heavy metals that you're toxic in as well. And our coaches will design a customized supplement protocol to help replenish your minerals and push the metals out of your body. So that's pretty much what we're doing on the Myers Detox Protocol. So Raymond, is it okay to take Pectosol while on a water fast? Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to take Pectosol, because when you're on a water fast, you tend to do a lot of detoxing on that, and you need fiber to remove the metals that you're mobilizing while you're doing a water or a juice fast. So really important to take fiber to bind onto those metals to remove them from the body. So I definitely recommend that when you're doing any kind of water or juice fast, to take the Pectosol C or my Citra Cleanse, which is my new product. So Michelle, I have horrible Charlie horses in my toes that are severely painful. I'm taking some magnesium, calcium, and real salt. That's not helping. So I wouldn't take calcium if you're having cramps like that. I would take magnesium. Make sure you're taking the right form of magnesium. So you want to be taking like magnesium glycinate is a really good form. You can also take magnesium malate. You want to be taking potassium if you're having any kind of cramps. Potassium is really, really important. You can eat more bananas, or you can mushrooms or potassium-rich foods, in addition to taking potassium supplements. You can also take my activated silica and Citra Cleanse, because there are certain toxic metals that block potassium channels in the body. So you may have enough potassium in your body, but the potassium channels in your body are being blocked, so that you're not able to have enough potassium you need to prevent muscle cramps or the Charlie horses you're talking about. So you may need some detoxification there to get rid of thallium and cesium that are preventing potassium from functioning properly in your body. Taking magnesium, taking potassium, and other minerals, just in general, taking other minerals as well, a multi-mineral supplement can be really, really helpful. And so Brandon, can you show examples of toxic hair mineral heavy metal tests? So on my blog on myersdetox.com, I have a couple of blogs called Dear Detox Diary that I wrote a long time ago. And they have my metals tests on them and my interpretation of those heavy metals tests. You can go on those blog posts and find them. We also have, there's an article on, search for hair mineral analysis, and you'll find some articles on hair mineral analysis. And we have some sample hair mineral analysis tests on there as well. So Liz, so what's the top 2 binders after minerals? So my top binder is my Citra Cleanse product that's on the store.myersdetox.com. And my next favorite binder is Chris Shade's Quicksilver Ultra Binder. That's a fantastic one as well. It has a few different things in it. It's got alganates, it's got charcoal, some other things. A little bit different than my Citra Cleanse, but it's a very good one to rotate if you're kind of want to rotate your binders a little bit. So everyone, that's all the questions for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's Facebook Live. Join me again next week, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what the subject is yet, but we'll be announcing it in the newsletter and on Facebook, telling you what our subject next week is going to be on. Again, thanks so much for joining me. I love talking to you guys and interacting with you and answering all of your questions. And I will see you next week. Please listen to my Live to 110 podcast on myersdetox.com, where, again, I'm giving you lots of education on how to detox your body and survive in today's toxic world. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.